Welcome to the Real Deal Smite God reveal, featuring Sun Wukong, the Chinese Monkey King.
There is nowhere I cannot go, yet I choose to be here.
Man oh man, how the mighty have fallen. Back in Season 1, Wukong was fucking everywhere, and if it wasn't Wukong, it was pre-rework Ao Kuang. So what happened in those past few years to cause Wukong to barely see any play? Well, about 24 new gods, 50 patches, and 100 or so skins. Well, now that I put it like that, it makes sense why he isn't played. But let's find out the mystery to this anyway. I tried to find a character from League that plays like Wukong, but the closest I could figure was, well, Wukong. But that isn't really all that correct, since while they share some similarities, they play nothing alike. So whatever, no real comparison today. Sun Wukong's passive is Undefeated Body. When Sun Wukong is below 35% health, he gains 10% critical chance and 10 protections, plus 1% crit chance and 1 protection per level, to a maximum of 30% crit chance and 30 protections. Now, I'll let you in on a fun little fact and tell you that half of this passive is useless. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's the crit half. The reason crit is useless on Wukong is because he's more reliant on his abilities than his autos. You could argue that the idea behind the passive is so Wukong can outbox opponents, which is true, but the problem there is that when Wukong's passive goes off, that's usually the time to start retreating from the fight. Even then, Wukong's base auto damage is pitiful, so if you do crit, you'll be doing as much damage as a hunter or assassin's base attack at best. The protections are a nice plus though. Sun Wukong's one is the magic cudgel. Sun Wukong slams his cudgel in a line in front of him, dealing 240 plus 50% physical damage to all enemies. Minions in jungle camps take an extra 25% damage. Not much to say other than it's Wukong's lane clear ability, and the length of the attack is the reason why he's such a good lane poker. Next, Sun Wukong's 2 is Master's Will. Sun Wukong strikes the area around him, dealing 290 plus 50% physical damage to all enemies and slowing them by 30% for 2 seconds. Even less to say about this, it slows and damages. What do you people want from me? There's barely a sentence to even work with here. Cut me a break. Okay, how's this? Sun Wukong is from the ancient Chinese fable Journey to the West, which also inspired the Dragon Ball anime series. And in that series, Goku, who is supposed to be based on Wukong, is voiced by Sean Schemmel, who also voices Sun Wukong in Smite. I don't know how that'll help you play Wukong, but there you go, it's something to talk about. Alright, you guys are thinking I'm just skimming over these abilities too quickly? Well, prepare your anus, cause here comes the essay. Sun Wukong's 3 is 72 transformations. Sun Wukong transforms into an eagle, tiger, or ox, depending on where you aim the skill and charges forward. Eagle form is the fastest of the 3 and is immune to slow and root effects. Tiger form mauls the first enemy it runs into, stunning it for 1.4 seconds and dealing 380 plus 80% physical damage. Ox form knocks up all enemies it hits and deals 210 plus 60% physical damage to each enemy. The Ox is immune to slow, root, and knock-up effects, and the ability can be cast every 14 seconds at max rank. So this is Sun Wukong's character-defining ability. The Eagle form is great for getting back to lane or to escape a fight. It can also be used offensively to catch up to opponents so you can land your 1-2 combo on them. The Tiger form is his most damaging form and provides the best CC to a single target. It's a great ability to catch people to land the rest of your combo on them. The major problem with this form is that it gets used up if it hits a minion, which wouldn't be so bad if the skill shot wasn't so easy to fuck up. Since Wukong's 3 is his dash, he constantly charges forward, so it's hard to catch people sidestepping since you can't make angled turns. Gotcha, bitch! Although if landing the Tiger form is too hard, the Ox form is piss easy since it's more for crashing in and disrupting the team fight and doesn't stop at the first enemy hit. The downside is that it doesn't do much damage and the knock-up isn't as long-lasting as the Tiger stun. With all that said, the ability is fantastic for the utility it provides. The downside is that it's Wukong's dash, so to use it effectively you need to be aggressive and have full cooldown to use it again when the fight starts to go south. Also, 72 transformations my ass. I only count 3. Oh, god damn. Don't know about you guys, but I need a cigarette after that shit. Sun Wukong's ult is Somersault Cloud. Wukong becomes CC immune and leaps onto his cloud, leaving a decoy behind to fight and inherits a percentage of Wukong's strength and defense. The decoy is killed instantly if hit by a hard crowd control effect, excluding banishes and knockbacks. If the decoy dies, Sun Wukong is revealed on his cloud. While on the cloud, Wukong is invisible and regenerates 5% health per second. he may leap off before the time limit, dealing 340 plus 120% physical damage in an area. Wukong can cast this ability every 90 seconds at max rank. Okay, that was a lot of bullshit just to say Wukong heals, leaves a clone that attacks people, and you jump and do damage. And like with the description of Vulcan's turret, it doesn't mention some key details like how long you can stay on the cloud, the lifetime of the clone, and how much power and defense the clone inherits. So again, I had to look on the Smite wiki for this info, and here's what I got. Wukong can stay on his cloud for 5 seconds, healing for 25% of his overall health. The clone lasts for 10 seconds, and I still have no idea how much power and defense the clone inherits. Yep, not even the wiki knows this information. Honestly, Hi-Rez, get your heads out of your asses and hashtag fix this shit already. Like with Wukong's passive, only half of this ult is useful, and it's the CC immunity and healing. The damage output of the ult is laughably bad. The base damage gets outclassed by his tiger form, for fuck's sakes. Okay, to be fair, the damage isn't too bad, but the healing and the get out of shit free card is far better. The worst part about the ult though is the clone it spawns. Aside from the fact that I have no clue what the exact stats are, there's no way to directly control the clone. All the clone ever does is attack one of the enemy gods in the dumbest way possible. It just walks up and only uses basic attacks, which I've already explained why that's dumb on Wukong. On top of that, it usually attacks the worst possible target. If it isn't trying to tickle the tank, it's going after the god in the back line that's under the turret. Yeah, so as far as ults go, it's okay, but really not that great. There are plenty of other warriors in Smite with better and more reliable ults. And in a nutshell, this is why Wukong isn't really played anymore. There's just other warriors that can do what some Wukong does, but better. You want that ranged poke? Shock can do that no problem, and deal more damage. Want that consistent CC? Hercules and Tyr are far better and more reliable choices. That's not to say Sun Wukong is a bad god. He's actually pretty balanced for a warrior and can be pretty good in the right hands. But that's also kind of the problem. Most warriors are supposed to have that one element to them that makes them a threat in a team fight. Some Wukong, yeah, not so much. I've never fought against a Wukong and went, ugh, another try-hard asshole. You know, like I usually say whenever I see Tyr and Loki players. Honestly, that's really the only reason Wukong has fallen out of the meta. There's just better warrior options to choose, not to mention the bits of power creep sneaking in over the years. Wukong's design is supposed to be more aggressive compared to other warriors, but he really doesn't have the same tank or damage stats compared to the other warriors in Smite to reliably pull off that playstyle. I mean, in my research and playing Wukong, I found he's really good in Clash due to how fast he can rotate and harass the two lanes, but being OP in one game mode does not a viable god make. So if you are going to play some Wukong, while he is fun, just keep in mind that you're already fighting an uphill battle before the fight even begins.